Clair Huxtable versus Myra Monkhouse. Which woman would you choose to be with? Welcome to another Anti-Simp video. For those of you who are new to my channel, you should hit that bell notification so that you are notified whenever I drop a new video, so you don't miss out on all the content that I post up. I like to make videos about things from my perspective, various topics from my perspective, and sprinkle a little bit of game in them. My perspective and my observation, and sometimes my own personal experience, and then I give a little bit of a game in there, a little bit of nugget of game in there on how I handle situations, or how situations should be handled. Let's get this on the way. So back when I used to have the Stop Simping Movement Facebook page, and now that I have the Anti-Simp, formerly known as SSM, as well as my website, stopsimpingnow.com, I'm no stranger to making controversial topics or posts or sharing my observation or viewpoint on a particular topic or whatever. Back when I had the Stop Simping Movement, this is around 2005. Not 2005. I didn't even have Facebook in 2005. 2015. My bad. So around 2015, by that time I was used to seeing posts about Clair Huxtable and how a lot of guys preferred a woman like that over a lot of the flashy, trashy, disgusting women, as they say. And when I was in a lot of groups or whatever cases, this is the post that was circulating around, that they preferred a woman like her over, well, like I just said, over the women that they called disgusting or trashy, or, who always displayed gratuitous nudity and didn't appreciate them. They always preferred a Clair Huxtable. But for me, I was never like that. I never liked that type of woman for a multitude of reasons. One of them that turned me off about Clair Huxtable was that she always ragged on Cliff. All the time, yo. All the time. Like, if you're a red pill guy and you don't like to hear about discussions about race, this is your warning. I'm going to talk about race in this video. And if you're a black guy, then sit down and shut up, because you need to hear this out anyway. My thing about the Cosby Show is that Claire always ragged on Cliff, and she was just always jabbing him, always like, anytime he was happy about something he accomplished, she always ragged on him. She always had to humble him. I didn't like it that the fact she felt like it was her job, her character's job was to rag on him and bring him back down to earth. Every time he was happy about something he accomplished, or he was cheerful, she always felt the need to bring him back down. And as a black man, you don't need anything like that. Separating race from the man, as a man in general, you don't need women who are constantly going to bring you down. But this happens especially in the black community, where women always feel the need to bring you back down to earth, or to chop at your legs when you are happy about something you accomplished. You hype, and all this other stuff. They're never really happy for your accomplishments. Your accomplishments become their accomplishments as well. You're a team. But I never saw that with her. She was always ragging on him, and her character felt the need to humble him. And if you're a black man, you go out into this world every day. You are humbled by this world every day, so you do not need it from your woman. When you get home, she should be celebrating with you. She should be popping out the bubbly with you. She should be down to celebrate with you. She should be willing to do various activities with you to success. And the same thing should go with her. You shouldn't be dragging her down either. But a lot of guys said they preferred her over many other women who, I guess, I don't remember the women. This was like back in 2005. I don't remember the other women. I guess I'm going to say Laura, because they had her, they might have used her as an example, as somebody who, who chased, who had a guy chase her, and, eventually he got the girl. And I disagree with that whole point. I never agree with any of the women you all think is an example of a decent woman. because women that I like are the type of women that do not get out of pocket. Shows like Family Matters do not, you know, they do not do us justice. They got guys out here thinking that, you know, women should be difficult and you have to chase them in order to get them, but not me. I like women that are all over me and like me just the way I am, like Myra. Steve Urkel must have been a little cum se cum sa and was using Laura as an excuse to run away from a cooperative woman, a cooperative ladylike woman such as Myra Monkhouse. And to be realistic with y'all, some people didn't even notice, but Family Matters went on for about 9 seasons. And in the 9th season, Steve Urkel finally got the girl. But the only reason why Urkel even got the girl was because the season was, like, the show was ending. It got canceled. But, excuse me, if they could have, they would have went on for another 10 seasons. As a matter of fact, in the 10th season, they would have had Urkel continuously chasing her. When Urkel started the show, he was about 12 years old. And since he was a really smart guy, he probably was in college. No, you know what? They had him graduated with everybody else. So I was going to say they probably had him skip school grades or whatever case is. But he had a college educated type of mind. But they had him graduate with Laura or his class or whatever case is. So I don't think that's true. But in this show, they had him chasing her. They would have had him chasing her for another season, maybe even 10 more seasons if they could have kept the show on going. So realistically, the idea that they'll get the girl eventually isn't even true. They would have had him keep on chasing her for another season, and maybe 10 more seasons if they could have kept on going. And it wouldn't have been cool. And he had been chasing this girl since he debuted on his show. And he wasn't even like a permanent cast member. He was like a special guest or would appear up there from time to time. Kind of like just about any other next door neighbor character in a TV show. But so since he was 12, and let's tack on 4 years of him going to school or high school or whatever. No, not 4 years, because I don't know. I don't know how people did school where y'all from, but most people transitioned from I'm gonna say 12, 13 years old. You're in like the 5th grade, so you don't start the 6th grade until you're like 13 or whatever, or maybe when you're 12. I don't know. But it's within that age range. So he starts the show at 12. They're in, I guess, middle school. Then they go to high school. Somewhere later on down the line, he becomes a permanent cast member of the show. They're in high school together. He's tall. He's getting bass in his voice. He's getting bigger. He's getting muscle mass. The guy can play basketball, so he's a very athletic nerd. He's not the same kid that people hung on, coat hangers in previous episodes. I don't even think he was ever a kid. Actually, he did get beat up once, but not as a kid though. He got beat up as an adult. I think this was around the 8th or 9th season. Him and Little Richie and 3J were assaulted by some gang in a park or whatever. And this is the episode where he turns into Bruce Lee, and Orlando Brown plays C3 or 3C or something like that. And he's friends with like Little Richie, and they all become like Bruce Lee and they kick butt. I remember that episode because Jason David Frank, the guy who played the Green Ranger in the Power Rangers, was a special guest. He was the bully in the show. Him and I think what is his name, man? Walter Jones. He played a bully on the show as well. So a couple of the characters from Power Rangers was actually on the show. But anyway, my point is that Steve was on the show since high school. I mean, since he was 12. He graduated, he transitioned from middle school all the way up into high school, and was going to continuously pursue this girl for most of his life. Meanwhile, he had a girl like Myra who was always all over him, always chasing after him. I think eventually, because the season was ending, not the season, but the show was ending, eventually she would just, give up and stop pursuing him and give him an ultimatum. But he would let her know that, he was still in love with Laura. and then, you know, you would break up with her. And it always made me look at him weird because she was so cooperative. It's like, how could you not like somebody like that? She was supportive, she was cooperative, she was submissive, she was happy for his success. She was a beautiful woman. She was fine. I think she was finer than Laura. There were things about her that made her even more beautiful than Laura, but the fact that she knew what she wanted in a man. She was tough and she was fierce. She was funny. So I don't have the same concept of women that you guys have. You know, she was submissive. You know, she always let him know that he turned her on, and you know, she was always what I want to say. I think I did say she was submissive or whatever, but she was, you know, always there for him when he needed her. And Laura, you know, she gets to get the guy because the show was ending. I don't think that's a good concept to send guys. I don't think that's a good idea to tell something that you should tell guys that, yeah, you gotta pursue the women in order to get the women that you want, or whatever the case is. But nowadays, women are telling you they don't. At one point, they said they didn't like being pursued. They didn't like you approaching them. Then when guys stop approaching them, they change their minds and they complain about not getting approached at all. And that's interesting and hilarious. In my opinion, women should do the pursuing. Women should do the approaching. Yeah, sometimes that, you know, it might not work out, but that's just life, and life ain't fair, so get over it. Anyway, this is all the time that I care to give this video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. Share the video, like, subscribe, and don't forget to check out my website, stopsimpingnow.com/shop, and you can get the latest and greatest apparel, Anti-Simp t-shirts. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And if you'd like, you can check out some of my other content below. Peace.